Okay, number 19 on the review. So we know it's the flip-flip. So we have f of x, f inverse. On the inverse, my x-coordinate is 10, and I want the slope there. That's the question they're asking. Well, if the x-coordinate is 10, then the y on my original is 10, and I need to find the x that goes with it. So let y equal 10, and solve for x. Well, I see the problem. Okay, let's see. What do I do with that? Honestly, I did not intend to give you one with a power of 7, and I see I gave you 2 of them, but I'll show you what to do with this anyway, although I did not, again, intend for this to be like this. Subtract 10 on both sides. We'll set it equal to 0, and you get this. Now, it is possible on the AP exam that you get a crazy problem like this, but they would expect you to at least be able to check some basic numbers, like if you plug in 1 or -1. So if it's not 1 or -1, then I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with this. Let's try plugging in a 1. If I plug in a 1, for the x you do get 0. So because it's an easy answer that I could guess and check reasonably, you could see this, but I wouldn't do this to you on your test. Now, by the way, if it wasn't an easy answer that I could guess and check and find, I would graph this, and look for a height of 0 on my calculator. Again, for your next test, I won't do an x to the 7th. I didn't realize I did that. Okay, so hopefully you can see, though, that if this was an easier problem to solve, okay, you could easily get that x equals 1, then that goes here. All right, getting past that, you should know what to do from here. We're going to find the slope at that 1. So the slope at 1 means I need the derivative. The derivative of that would be 28x to the 6th plus 1. Now plug in the 1, and you get 29. That, as you know, is not the answer to our question. The answer to our question would be the reciprocal, 1 over 29. Done. So if I were to give you this problem on a test, I would give you this part, that f of 1 is 10. Okay, if I had given you that, then this would be a fair question. So hopefully you understand everything other than that weird part where I gave you an x to the 7th to solve. Sorry. I suspect number 20 is the same deal. So number 20, the same thing. We know that 9 is the x on the inverse, so it's the y on the original. Trying to solve for x there, if I plug in that y is 9 and try to solve this, okay, well, that's not something I know and love how to solve right off the bat. Typically, it would be factorable, not so much here. So you would either graph it or guess and check numbers like 1 and -1 and see if you can find an answer just using 1, -1, and 0. Honestly, I wouldn't do this to you on the test. I would tell you the answer to this piece. I did not mean it to be such a high exponent. So I can see 0 wouldn't work because that would be 0 plus 3, and that won't equal 9, so it's not that. So next I would try 1. If I let x equal 1, I'd get 4 plus 2 plus 3, and that does equal 9. So I know that the answer to this is 1. Again, I won't give you one like that, but plugging in and guessing and checking 1, -1, and 0 is not completely, unreasonable. So now I know that x is 1. Find the slope there. So we have to find our derivative and plug in a 1. So the derivative would be 28x to the 6th plus 2. The derivative at 1 would be 30. So the answer to this question is the reciprocal, 1 over 30. Done.